You're a good soldier, choosing your battles. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over. The pressure's on, you feel it, but you got it all, believe it. When you fall, get up, oh, oh, and if you fall, get up, eh, eh. Tamina, mina, sangalewa, cause this is Africa. Tamina, mina, eh, eh, waka, waka, eh, eh. Tamina, mina, sangalewa, this time for Africa. Time to shine, don't wait in line, y vamos por todo. People are raising their expectations. Go on and feed them, this is your moment, no hesitation. Today's your day, I feel it. You pave the way, believe it. If you get down, get up, oh, oh. When you get down, get up, eh, eh. Tamina, mina, sangalewa, this time for Africa. Tamina, mina, eh, eh. Waka, waka, eh, eh. Samina, mina, sakalewa, anawa, ah, ah. Samina, mina, eh, eh. Waka, waka, eh, eh. Samina, mina, sakalewa, this time for Africa.
I'm well on my journey, biggie, biggie mama, 1 A to Z. My sister's all on my journey, biggie, biggie mama, from east to west. My tea, waka, waka, my eh, eh. Waka, waka, my eh, eh. Sangin' since summer, Zimbabwe, yeah. 'Cause this is Africa.
Africa, Tango, eh, eh, Tango, eh, eh. Samina, mina, sangalewa, anawa, ah, ah. Tango, eh, eh, Tango, eh, eh. Samina, mina, sangalewa, anawa, ah, ah. This time for Africa.
So this is Beinegul, my name is Antonina, and we are offered to conduct the next session.
Beinegul and Antonina, first of all, Beinegul is an alumni of the TEAP program, Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program, 2015. She 19, sorry,
Yes.
2019. She studied at the Montana State University. Plus, she had her professional placement at Bozeman High School there. So she spent over 6 weeks in the US, plus I think you had orientation week in Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
too?
no, not week, but 3 days.
3 days. Yeah, 3
At
days.
the last,
Yeah.
the end of this program.
Yeah, at the end of the program. And then she's also an alumni of the e-teacher program. The course she took, TESOL methodology.
Yes.
Yeah, and plus she's a very active teacher from our and member in our ATENK association. Yeah, so and Antonina, she is an English teacher from
Kyzylzhar district.
You changed the school. Bagulina Secondary School. She's an active teacher. She's an active member of ATENK Association. She is a developer of test questions for our Olympiad, I think.
Best video
lesson plan. Olympiad тоже.
No, we have prepared with Irina some courses. So the program courses will help you.
For the ministry. Yeah. And she's a course developer for one of the projects we are working now. So thank you. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Albina, for your presenting us. So to start our session, we want from the setting up some questions. Discuss the given questions in group and share your ideas. So Antonina will
Just 4 cars of question and maybe to
Open
open discussion. Yes.
So the first question is, what type of meetings you can call effective? The second one, give some features of the term effective meaning. And the last one, what type of meeting you prefer to attend? So please discuss them, these questions.
So even discuss in group or maybe to conduct an open discussion as it is offered us.
What type of meetings
Maybe open
is
discussion.
effective?
Okay, communicate and collaborate with teachers. In our case, yes, with teachers or people who are interested in the same things as you are. And if after this meeting, these people continue communicating, collaborating in this field,
Meetings where they can share not only the experience and the ideas, but also maybe like to create some kind of a network and for continue with the further collaboration, which promotes the development of their skills.
So what type of meeting you can call?
Okay, effective. Okay, from the position of effectiveness, let's discuss this. What type of meetings?
It depends on the objective of the meeting. If it's only to inform the people about some items of the event, it's just enough to hold the meeting in Zoom session. If it requires to develop something or to construct, to develop something, a program, for example, the course design, it's better to organize face-to-face meeting.
Yes, face-to-face.
Or just emails
sometimes.
Our meeting just could have been just an email from a boss.
Yes, of course, when we talk about meetings, of course, we think first of all about professional meetings, and we mean professional interaction at these meetings. And imagine that you are at school or at your work and discuss about the effectiveness of meetings you attended at your professional community.
Well, each action has a goal, and if we achieve our goal, so the action was successful.
Yes.
So we can say it about meetings.
So the next question?
give some features for the term effective meeting.
Might be better to ask, how do you think your school meetings, are they effective?
No, if you be the
Are you satisfied
continuation.
with the meetings with your administration, maybe with your coach?
Don't hurry, Zoe. Do not hurry.
Don't worry.
Okay,
Let's focus on the time of development. This is the next portion of questions.
yes.
Okay, so it depends on the type of the meeting. Feature.
What types of meeting do you prefer to attend?
I prefer
Tea party.
Any meeting which contributes to your development, maybe.
Development.
To your development.
and fun.
And fun.
Just chatting also the development sometimes.
Yeah. If you gain
Brainstorm
something new,
ideas.
then this is an effective meeting.
Agree?
Okay, how many ideas did you can you name that you get today? That you got today? How many ideas you have from today's session?
Good question.
Today? You
Yeah,
mean you are asking me?
Yeah, I asked in common if we speak about effectiveness. We have ideas from every meeting, and it's a kind of development. So if we get even one idea that we can develop, we can call that.
Usually when you are going to attend any meeting, firstly you look to the agenda. If it is interesting for you, you can join the meeting. If it's not so interesting, so usually in my case, I do not attend the meetings that I do not. I'm not interested.
Sometimes we are just forced to attend some meetings, right?
But usually you look, what are they going to discuss?
So listen on that. Twice a month you attend meetings that you are not interested in.
But this is the
Yeah, but it can be effective.
But it also can be.
It's not an AS meeting, ladies. In general, professional development means meeting. Professional development.
Maybe professional development means. So okay, now to continue our discussion, we offer you to listen to the situations that happen in
Yes.
the common school.
Okay, let's move on. And with a change in work and the move towards more collaborative decision making, people need to spend more time in dialogue with each other, sharing ideas, solving problems, making decisions and planning for action. But every practicing teacher has asked himself this question at least once. Oh no, not another meeting. How do they expect me to get any work done if I'm always in a meeting? I ask you to listen to a story from one school somewhere in the North Kazakhstan region.
Somewhere in North Kazakhstan.
North Kazakhstan, yes. And young and promising teacher came to the post of school director. On the very first day, he invited all the teachers to tell about himself and get to know everyone. All 80 teachers of the school came to the meeting and he started a story about himself. After 15 minutes of the meeting, the young director read boredom and indifference on the faces of
Some
his
supportive
colleagues.
pictures for visual learners. Some supportive pictures. So it was the first situation with the new principal.
Someone constantly looked at the door and someone smiled lazily. The director stopped the meeting and said he would continue tomorrow. The next day, he decided to hold an informal meeting and called all the school staff, including the cooks, secretary, floor washers, and so on. He decided to start not with a story, but asked them to ask questions that interest them. Everyone began to list their questions and no one even waited for an answer. In the office, noise and confusion began, during which some chose to leave the meeting. The meeting had to end before it began. However, the young director did not despair, and the next day he decided to call only the deputies and school specialists to hold a meeting. The director began a story about himself, and after 5 minutes of his story, one of the deputies said, "Sorry, but the parents of the 3rd grade students are waiting for me. I have to go." Again, he had to end the meeting without finishing. So now, you are suggested to discuss in groups and present their suggested list and provide ideas about the ideal school meeting and present the list of advice. So can you?
So present a list of advice for this young school leader. So list of advice where? Okay.
Yes.
Can you help us to? So it's your list of advice. And it's how many groups are there?
4.
4, yeah.
So for this situation, you should give some advice for young director. Effective meeting.
I suggested you do
Yes.
this.
So, I urge you to speak with us. What are your advice for young, promising principal of new school?
We think that the first he needs to love his job.
Okay.
Delegate responsibilities among the staff, to be involved each meeting in the staff responsibilities, to give his physical and mental, set objectives meetings, set agenda, keep account, to know the abilities of the staff, and attend courses of management and time management.
So first of all, before organizing meeting, he needed to attend courses about management. Yes? Before organizing. It was the first he needed to do. Okay. So to attend the courses about management. Okay, what did you mean about saying to keep his physical or
physical.
What does it mean? So could you explain?
His physical mental health.
Oh. So you suppose he was crazy?
Yes, духовно он должен быть здоровым.
Okay. So thank you for your advice. So we need to take a photo, and maybe someone from these teachers will be a principal, and we will use your list of advice. So, Alicia, are you ready to speak?
Yeah, ready?
Yes. I think so. We six advice. Of advice. Okay, so first of all, principle should be positive. It's not just another.
Okay.
Okay, it should be positive and well organized. Principal, before he starts or she maybe starts any meeting, he needs to have a plan. How he or she is going to pay people's attention, how he or she is going to behave himself or herself in this meeting. Yes. Then this person should have exact goals for this meeting. So he needs or she needs to understand what she wants to get from this. Then time management. As it was mentioned that sometimes some principals just don't pay attention to the time management.
Yes.
Be precise and flexible.
Yes.
If if the staff, for example, is bored, that means that he needs to change something. So, and adaptability is really good here. Inflexibility will help in this case. Then this person, this principal should be ready for public speech. And here we can just advise maybe for the first time when this principal is not very confident.
Sometimes
yes, maybe it's better to write his speech on the paper and train before the mirror.
Good advice.
Good advice, right?
Okay, and be brief and short.
Brief or short.
Yes. Okay, so that's all.
Okay, so that's good. Have you ever faced a situation when you are in the meeting and all or entire meeting just only one speaker? Just only one speaker, and it's too boring to hear or to listen to this information from one person. It's boring. So you have suggested to change. What to change do we need? So you have told something. So you have told something to change. So to change
be flexible. But if the staff is bored, we need to change the activity.
Yes,
or
to change activity. Yes. To change activity, to kind of presentation, and of course to change speakers, I think.
If there is only one speaker during the meeting, which means that this speaker should be brief.
And meeting should be brief.
Yes.
Okay, so what can you advise to this young principal? Your group list, yes, or thank you.
So
we prepared a poster. Here you can see the principal like before our Lyceum advice and after. And here are his colleagues, yes, who all want to run back home. And here are his colleagues who want to stay at school like forever. So, first of all, as we got it from the brief, right, he didn't tell them in advance that he's going to organize the meeting. So the first thing is to set the time and date and tell everyone in advance so that they knew that they had to, they know that they have to go to this meeting, first of all. Then the second mistake was to invite everyone. So starting from the staff who is responsible for, for cleanliness in school and ending with the teachers. So we decided to split the staff into several groups for this meeting. Then, before the meeting, he should have created a questionnaire in Google form and analyzed the answers of the staff. And then he could, he would be prepared what questions there would be, for example, or what issues should be solved during this meeting. So as we understood, he wanted to present himself, yes, so 15 minutes, that's too long, which means that he should have created a very short and concise presentation of himself, like 2-3 minutes, and that's it. And then the last thing, to delegate the responsibilities, and that's it.
So can you suggest some advice? Can you suggest some solution for the problem when during the meeting some participants want to leave? And they say that so we have problems, or sorry, some parents of the third grade students are waiting for me, sorry, I have to go. And how the situation should be solved?
Well, I don't.
How do you think?
I don't think that that would be an issue if he just had warned them in advance. I mean, like the situation with the parents. I mean, did they come like suddenly, or was it discussed beforehand? So maybe that persons that had to leave, maybe they just had this meeting organized before. That the principal decided to have a chat with his staff. So I think that that's why we wrote set the time and date in advance.
It's the best solution to inform in advance.
Yeah. Then they have no way out of this meeting.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no one will let them go. You know, in real life, no one will tell them, okay, you can go. This is well. They will be told, that's your problem. It was you were informed beforehand, right? So you have to stay.
Yeah. So here it's common situation for school community meetings. I think it's common situation. So thank you for your ideas, and Irina and Solik, what can you say about this? So you are experienced leader, and you give the answer for all questions you have. Yes, I'm sure.
So we will want just to add to the old ideas that the ladies have already said. Firstly, we recommend think about the aim of the meeting, the goal. Why are you going to organize the meeting with the 80 teachers, for example, and what discussions what questions you are going to discuss. And we advise the young principal to write the plan of the meeting with timing.
With time, yes.
With time. So, the next advice from us is not to arrange long introduction. Just start with the main idea at once. The other way to do the meeting more effective is to give the information that you are going to discuss before the meeting, via email or some
Google Forms.
Any way you can use just to introduce them, what are you going to discuss with them. And arrange smaller groups for discussion, or it could be introductive, interactive discussion, or whatever. So, and the others we...
And one more remark. I know at least some, but I know that exist million exist million of possible means how to introduce ourselves. And to tell about ourselves for 15 minutes, it is nonsense.
Yes.
Well,
But sometimes, to be honest, the author of this story, I am. And it's all of these situations I have written, common situations from all school meetings. That's true. So, and sometimes 15 minutes just we listen some boring information about somebody's life or somebody's success or and so on.
But pedagogical council can be almost 2 or 3 hours in some schools.
Sometimes it's common situation.
Yes. And all teachers, they are exhausted, tired after such kind of meetings.
So okay, thank you for the list you have.
To have an effective meeting, you have to be prepared for the meeting.
Of course.
That's the idea. Not come back to a wedding party, just wait what interesting will happen. You should be prepared for the meeting. If you have any questions to discuss assessment or maybe the method of teaching or whatever, look through the material, read in the material, and then you will discuss very quickly and come to the solution.
and for the second meeting, he invited cooks, secretary, floor washers, and so on, and asked them to write set questions. So it is the specific of the job and how he. And what was his idea for discussion different kind of questions at one and the same meetings? So cooks had one list of questions, yes, and how secretary another one. Well, how to discuss all together.
So on that situation, they were allowed to ask the questions,
And
it was a noise.
Mix, do not mix.
Yes, do not mix. So yes, and your suggestion about the third situation. When one of the participants need to go.
Sorry, we didn't read it.
You know that usually it's about
Inform in advance, yes, as this group has already said. Yes, and to sum up all your ideas, you have told many tips how to organize effective meeting, and to be honest, we have to be short because we hear the smell from the kitchen about preparing dinner and you have to be short. So for the last activity, we have chosen the activity which is similar to Alesia's. Sorry, we didn't discuss in advance and we repeat the same activity, but in our topic. Okay. So on this poster, you might turn upside down.
Okay, for example, introduction.
Okay. Not long, because
Yes,
already said.
maybe 1-2 minute introduction, and then it depends on the goals that you have. Maybe it should open discussion, maybe it's like group discussion, maybe questions. So it depends on the goals of the minister. Yes, and mention of the main points.
Okay, so and the one point.
Active participation, freedom to express views, but not all together and one by one.
Okay. So and respect.
Respecting each other.
Okay.
After participation, have to present and respect each other.
So thank you for your opinion. Who want to be the name? Okay, you say.
Maybe punctual start and correct use of AOD.
Okay, punctual start. So everything should be in time. So you choose punctual start for what type of meeting?
For effective and
Yes,
correct
for
use of
effective
AOD,
meeting.
also for effective. And effective, no hidden agendas, because he should follow, we should follow the timetable and not discuss other questions.
At the end of the day, we are naughty. So yes, no hidden agenda. Everything should be clear. Yes, clear for every participant of meeting. So and Asim, could you say? Okay, nice to
Active participation and preparation enforce freedom to express views and strong chairperson. And what else?
So these points were chosen for effective meetings. Okay. So be attentive, not repeat for each other. Okay. Okay. And so Irina and Saulia, what type of meetings will you discuss with us? Effective or ineffective?
The only one advice.
Okay.
Find pleasure and enjoyment in any meetings. For example, if you're tired, if you're, that we have here the phrase, what is it? So just enjoy being together and meeting with your.
So you need to attend the
Lots
meeting,
of
only the meetings you like.
Huh?
You need to attend the meeting only that you like.
Don't take it as a matter of routine. Enjoy. Enjoy being together, enjoy discussing, enjoy finding something interesting for you, something new. Because it is impossible to present all the time with the only new things. It is very difficult to be specific, to be original, and so on. Just look at the agenda, or maybe the point that is discussing from the other side. That might be you will find something interesting, catching your attention, so like this. Thank you, ladies.
It's for effective presenters, yes? Advice for effective presenters. So, and now your ideas.
I don't know. We were doing the paper strips.
You have done a huge job. So, I'm sure that you enjoy this meeting.
Just learn from the ladies how to work with the cards.
Yes, and how to work with such a big poster. How to be creative.
How smart you are. So, Tatyana, do you have anything new? Tamara?
Tamara, of course, has.
I don't know what don't have to frequency.
Okay. So, as a reflective part, dear colleagues, we suggest you to share your experience of the most memorable, effective meeting.
That's all.
That's all.
Maybe one.
Maybe
one
one,
story
yes.
from you of your memorable meeting you attended.
One of you, Tatyana, please.
One day there was a meeting in our Lyceum, and it was a kind of surprise to me because I maybe for the first time learned about such a term like emotional intelligence. Yes, emotional intelligence or emotional intellect. Yes. This topic was very interesting to me because it is an essential part of people who wants to have a long professional life and who wants their students to be successful.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Another word with relationship in graduate school education, they usually organize pizza parties where all students and professors are invited that they can discuss their ideas during such a form. And these meetings are really effective because after these meetings, lots of interesting activities are organized from students, not only who study there as a full-time student, but also as a part-time student.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you for your participation in this session. It's good to work in this friendly atmosphere, and thank you for this experience we have had today.
And thank you for your sharing your experience. Thank you, Tatyana. Thank you for reaching the Thank you, ladies. From our star from North Kazakhstan region, Tatyana Arendarenko. She's our active member of North Kazakhstan region.
The most responsible one.
Yes, the most responsible one, the most active one, the most beautiful one, the most seasoned one. Yes, so Tatyana, she is an active participant. She participated in ATENK conference. Yes. She participated in 2018. Ladies, listen please. ATENK conference. She participated. She took her students to the US. She created a project for students. I think it started with pen pal. So her school and the other school, they were communicating online, and then they built such a good relationship and communication so that they went to the US with her students, and then they also came, right?
Yes.
Yes, and the American side also came to Petropavlovsk and visited her school, and so the floor is yours.
Okay, my session is called Reflecting, Learning, Activating, and I decided to turn it into 3 powerful exercises because there is no opportunity to show my presentation. So we would like to do in
You
this
have already
way.
drawn all your presentations.
Yes, I did. And I would like to start our session with my self-presentation in the form of the identity wheel. And this idea was taken from my open program, which was which began in January and finished in March. And it was one of the second week tasks. I would like to say that this task is not so simple as it appears at first sight, and I would call it a visual tool for establishing your values, priorities. And as you can see, it was my task, I repeat again, in the heart of this flower there is my name.
And I chose 6 priorities or values such as family, volunteer community identity, professional identity, multicultural identity, digital identity, hobby. And it depends on you which of these identity will be on the first place. For me, maybe as for each of you, the first place is dedicated to my family. Because family, I think it is a kind of nest where love is born and it's being grown. And our families is a platform for our future success, for future success of our children. Everything starts with our family. The second maybe identity or value or on its importance is my professional identity, because I contribute a lot of time and I invest in a lot of effort and time in my professional development. And a professional identity is as a teacher, trainer, teacher-trainer, colleague, mentor, and so on. By the way, family identity, a mother, a wife, a sister, a cousin, and aunt. Yes? Volunteer community identity is dedicated to our association ATENK. And the second volunteering is connected with my activity in an open community because I finished another course, leading course, and I am now an open community lead, where I should write posts for the teachers from all over the world and encourage them to participate in different discussions. And of course, I should give feedback and comments, write comments. And it is very interesting. Okay, what about my hobbies? I'm a book lover, traveler, yoga classes attended. Okay, walking, jogging, digital identity. I think one of the most important part of our professional life, because online courses, online teaching, distance learning, distance teaching, yes, virtual ATENK conference 2020. I think it was a big jump in my professional development, because I got a lot of skills, gained a lot of skills while organizing this conference with Albina and Dina. Okay, and multicultural identity. My mom was Jewish, my father was Polish, but when I was 4 or 5, our home country Belarus became our home country. And since that time we have celebrated a lot of holidays from these nationalities. And when we moved to Kazakhstan, Kazakhstani holidays became part of our life. Yes, one of my favorite as Nowruz, for example. And when my eldest son moved to Finland and he married a Finnish girl, now we even celebrate Independence Day of Finland, and it is the same day our Kazakhstani day. So I would like you to make a wheel of identity or a flower of identity, and to try to define, try to define your values, your priorities, because it is the first step of reflecting on your values and priorities that defines your professional style, professional life. It is the first step of reflection. I sent this photo into our group, but there is no internet connection. Oh yes, there is. You you can watch. Okay. Difficult to see at first sight. And in order to understand this culture, people who want to be part of this culture, they should interact, they should be inside this community, to live their life, to understand their customs, traditions, and so on. And culture core elements are products, practices, and perspectives. So I would like you to give me some ideas about products of our ATENK association. Yes, it is something that we can hear, we can read, we can touch, we can feel. Products. It is something that we can create, we can make. But before this, I would like to tell you that such a person as Bodley gave a very short definition of a culture, and I like it very much. Culture is what people think, do, and make. And the first level of this iceberg, external culture, what products can you name associated with ATENK? What makes ATENK a culture?
Traditions, of course.
Traditions, of course.
BTA so contest is...
yes, you're right. Best teacher award.
So this year we did it for the second time already, yes? Well, it is becoming a tradition.
Yes, great. What traditions do you remember, or what tradition can be named as a part of our culture, ATENK culture?
Our meetings.
Our meetings, yes. Yes, ATENK tournament. Yes?
Yes. Text in WhatsApp.
Okay. ATENK conference, virtual first ATENK conference, yes? I think that there will be some more traditions which maybe will be born later, because our association is too young. We are only 2 years, yes? Okay, great. What about
part of any culture is its past, and as an association
we are forming,
but
yes,
so in
we are forming.
Yes.
Great. And what about our practices? What we do? What do you think? What do we do?
Encourage other teachers to come.
Yes, Alisa.
We cultivate the interest.
We promote our members, yes? Professional growth, boost professional growth, yes? What else?
We study another countries' associations experience, because I remember we had such kind of discussions. Maybe not all the teachers, but some teachers were involved in this discussion. I remember it. So Albina initiated this discussion. I remember it so well.
Do you remember how Albina always shares with a big amount of teachers in our region with current events, some online resources, like some
sharing experience,
some essential events again that teachers can be involved in.
Okay.
Like a culture of sharing. Sharing is caring.
Yes, and the last level is deep culture. Deep culture is not visible at all. It is perspectives. It is our thought patterns. what we believe in, what we
it is how we recognize our mission.
yes, and it develops from our attitude to our association, and our behavior is connected to this very level perspectives. And I gave this task to my 10th graders, and yes, and I integrated this model into our Lyceum life when our freshmen 8th graders come to high school. They should feel yourself as part of our Lyceum, and they should know better our traditions and customs. And the second part practices. Children usually sit down, think a lot of, and they make a set of rules of behaviors of the real Lyceums. Okay? And the last one. It's maybe a concluding phase of our meeting. ATENK Leadership Pizza. I introduce 8 parts, and these are my personal words and attitudes. You can write down about your personal skills and attitudes which you find most important in leadership. What are your skills during, for example, our today's camp? Yes. What are your skills? What are your attitudes which define how good are you? How good you are as a leader? Okay, what allows you to be a leader inside our association? Now you can take a picture, of course, and make your pizza, leadership pizza. You should write down 8 patterns according to our today's session. What was said by Alisa? What was offered by other girls? Yes? You have heard a lot about leader qualities, yes, and boss qualities. And now it's time to choose your own qualities, attitudes, and okay, and draw. And let's discuss. You should include everything you would think as an important part of your professional life.
So thank you so much, Tatyana, for your session. I hope it was also such a fruitful discussion here. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for everyone again for your time, for coming here to share your experience, your ideas, to learn something from each other. I think we learn more from each other even than just we learn ourselves. So we are all leaders, leaders in different ways. I think in first session, Beinegul Bekbolatova presented to you different leadership styles, transitional, authoritarian, instructional leadership, so different leadership, and I think we have here the most democratic leadership we can do, and we can apply this democratic leadership into our teaching because we are learner-centered approach teachers. In a learner-centered approach, we teach at school, we use democratic style where we're the same, and we consider our learners' needs and requirements. Okay, I know some people are in rush, so thank you so much. and I would like to be very short and thank you, Olga, and the Regional English Language Office, American Embassy, for supporting our event. They're always supportive and always keen to collaborate, contribute, and help us. Olga, maybe you will give out to everyone. First presenter is Tatyana.
Beinegul Bekbolatova.
Раз, два, три. Есть?
Arendarenko.
Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Есть?
Гульмира Есиденова.
Енсигенова.
Tatyana Shashtauletova. Черешка.